Good morning, friends. This is Carol. How are you? I am doing pretty good. Today, I eat Tex-Mex more than I eat anything else. I grew up in New Mexico. I live in Texas. Tex-Mex is what you eat. Anyway, today we're going to make a one serving guacamole. I've never made this before. I'm just trying all those small batch recipes I found. This is supposed to be guacamole for one. So let's get started. I'm going to make it in a cereal bowl because I assume it's going to not make very much. We need an avocado. I've washed these. Always wash even your avocado, even though you're not, even though you're not going to eat, the peeling, of course. You don't know who's touched these in the store. I've seen people touch like 10 avocados before they buy one. And besides, it was harvested, it was packed, it was shipped, it was unpacked, put out in the store, people touch it. Even though you're not going to eat it, wash it, because when you cut through this, there's a slight chance if there are germs all over this, when you slice it, it's going to go right into the meat of the avocado. Oh, it's been probably 10 years ago, I guess, but in southern Colorado, there was this farm that grew cantaloupes, and something, I don't remember the story, but anyway, they got some kind of germ on them, and if people sliced those cantaloupes and without washing it, they got really sick. So just always wash everything, even avocados. Okay, we need one avocado. It's kind of hard to pick an avocado. In the store, they're usually green like this. That's not right. You need one that when you push on it, it has a slight give. When you take the stem off at the end, if it's still green, that's supposed to be perfect. But you don't know until you cut into it. So we're going to try this. Now, if you buy green ones and you want them to ripen more than within 2 or 3 days, you can put it in a brown paper bag with an apple or a banana. And I hear that will really speed up the ripening process. If it's ripe when you buy it and you're not going to eat it that day, put it in the fridge. But anyway, I think this one is going to be perfect because that is green where I removed the stem. Okay, we need a jalapeno, lime juice, some salt. You're supposed to put in 1 clove garlic minced. I don't like garlic, so I'm just going to put in a little of this, but it calls for 1 clove garlic minced and a little bit of cumin. So let's get started cutting this avocado. Casey's not here to help me film or my grandkids, so I'm going to have to do this one-handed. I have a tripod that stands up, but it's not tall enough for the counter, so you're just going to have to bear with me holding it. A lot of times people cut the avocado in their hand like this. Don't do that. You're going to slice your hand open. I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed. What you want to do, and I'm left-handed holding the camera, and with my left hand, I'm going to have to change here. Okay. You want to cut it like you do a bagel. Okay. Now, if I had another hand, I would turn that. Hang on. Well, I thought I was recording, and I was not. But anyway, I cut the avocado in half by setting it on this chopping board and slicing it around kind of like you would do a bagel. This is it open. That is absolutely perfect for making guacamole. So that little green spot on the stem really helped me choose a good one. Now I'm going to get a spoon and dip out the flesh and the seed. I tried to stab it like people sometimes do. I can't do it. If you go like that and press into the seed, obviously I missed and came over here, they're able to lift it out. I'm going to use a spoon. I'll just cut myself. Okay, what I did was I took before I scooped out the flesh, I kind of squeezed this to separate the flesh from the peeling, and that makes it come out real easy. Let me see. On this one, okay, see there's that little bit, well, it doesn't even show up very good. There's a little brown spot there where the stem was. I'm going to pick that off, and I don't want to eat that. I'm sure nobody else picks it off, but anyway, If there are brown spots around the edges, that just means it was bruised. It's okay. That is a little brown spot in there. I'm going to say that's just a little bit darker. It's okay. It's where this sliced off into that. And that spot was just shadow. If it's got brown all the way through the flesh, then it's not going to be very good. It's too old. Okay, now I'm going to smash this up with a fork. Okay, that was very easy to smash up because it was good and soft. Some people like to leave some bigger chunks. Some people like it really smooth. I'm just kind of stopping halfway. A lot of times people put in some sour cream right here to make it creamier. I'm not going to do that. It just changes the flavor a little bit. I want to taste the avocado. Okay, and I saved my seed over here because if you're not going to eat this like right now, and I like mine to be chilled, to keep it from turning brown, the air exposure oxidizes it and will turn it an unappetizing brown. You can put the seed in your bowl with it and then take plastic wrap, push the plastic wrap down right against your guacamole to seal it and put it in the fridge for, I don't know, it may last a day or two. I've never had any last that long. We eat it. But anyway, I know if you want to keep it from turning brown, stick the avocado seed in there if you saved it. And even if you didn't, take plastic wrap, press it down right against the avocado mixture. Okay, now I'm going to add some seasoning. I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put a tablespoon of lime juice. If you don't have lime, use lemon. I'm going to put a tablespoon of chopped red onion. If you have white onion, that's okay. I'm going to put in some garlic powder. I'm just going to shake some in there. It calls for 1 clove garlic minced. I'm just going to do this. And then it calls for 1/8 teaspoon of chopped jalapeno. That's going to be, you know, like itty bitty. I may put in twice that much because I like it a little spicy. But start with 1/8 teaspoon of chopped jalapeno. Taste it and then see if you want to put more. I'm also going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Stir it up. Taste it. It may need more salt. It may need more jalapeno. You know, it just depends on what you like. But give me a second and I'm going to put those spices in. Okay, I've minced up my red onion as small as I could get it. I don't want to get a bite of a big chunk of onion. I may mince that even some more. I just cut the tip off my jalapeno. I'm going to remove those seeds. The seeds are hot, so if you don't like a whole lot of heat, I mean, it's still going to be spicy, but take those seeds out. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm just going to chop that much up, measure it, and see what I think. The rest of my guacamole, I'm sorry, the rest of my jalapeno, I'm going to put in a Ziploc bag and freeze to use for something else. Although I think I'm going to make something else later today to go with this. I may have that jalapeno back in a minute in the next video. I've got onion juice in my eyes, of course. If you don't have a fresh lime, you can use one of these or bottled lime. Just shake it up really good before you use it. And like I said, if you don't have lime, then use lemon. Okay, I've got my onion, some garlic powder, some salt, my cumin, the lime juice in here. Now I'm going to do my jalapeno. That much. There's half of the little tip I cut off. That's as much as I have left over. And this is 1/4 teaspoon. You're supposed to put in 1/8 teaspoon and then taste it. I'm going to start off with 1/4 teaspoon because I want a little bit of spice to it. So let me stir this all up. Also, some people chop up like a cherry tomato and put little tiny diced up cherry tomato in there. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I'm trying to stick by the recipe as it was written because I hate when I go to Pinterest, find a recipe I want to do, and in the reviews, I always read the reviews, it'll say, oh, this was great, except I changed this and I changed that and I added this and, you know, until it's not even the same recipe. I'm trying to stick to this as close as possible, except for the minced garlic. I didn't have that. Let me stir this up and we'll taste it. Okay, guys, we are going to taste this. And I don't like to eat on camera. I hate to watch people eat on camera. Yeah, that is pretty good. I think it needs a tad bit more salt, so I'm going to add a little salt to it. Then I'm not serving it right now. I'm going to put my seed back in there. I'm going to smooth this out flat so my plastic wrap can stick right to it. That's pretty good. Now, I have to tell you, this is not the way I normally do it. This is the first time I tried this. When I'm making guacamole, usually I use 3 avocados and a package of guacamole mix from the grocery store. It's a powdered mix that you just add to your guacamole. So this is the first time I've tried this. We're going to put it in the fridge and we'll see what Casey thinks. Okay, I added just a tad bit more salt and I added the rest of that jalapeno that I chopped up. So that ended up being about a half a teaspoon. Unless you like jalapeno, don't put that much until you've tasted it. I just like things good and spicy. Okay, I've got plastic wrap on this. I've put the seed back in there, smashed it down close as I could get. Hopefully the air can't get to it to oxidize it. I'm going to stick this in the fridge while I make something else. Okay, Casey popped in.
Hi.
So I'm going to let her taste it. It hasn't chilled yet, and it'll be better after it's chilled. But Casey's going to taste it, see what she thinks. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Is it too spicy?
Mm-mm.
You were supposed to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of chopped jalapeno.
Mm-hmm.
I put in 4 times that much.
Well, it's delicious.
Oh,
After
good.
it kills, it might be too hot, but I think it's great.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Casey, for your honest opinion. I looked at some baked enchilada recipes, and I'm just going to kind of combine those with things that I like, and I'm going to try to make enough to serve 2. I'll write down, I measured all the ingredients. I'll write it down, and if this works, we will know this works. Okay, I've got 8 ounces of ground beef in here. I've got about 3 tablespoons of diced onion. I've got about a half a teaspoon of diced jalapeno. I've got salt and pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and some chili powder. I think I put in 1/4 teaspoon. So we're going to brown this, and I'll get back with you. Oh, I also sprinkled in some garlic powder. Now, guys, if you just stumbled across my channel, I am not a cook. I always tell everybody this is not a cooking channel. I just like to eat. So I'm going to show you what I'm making to fill my belly today. I wanted to use up the onion and some of the jalapeno that I used for the guacamole. So I just kind of mixed everything up. But I measured it so I could, if this turns out to be good, I can tell you. This thing came from Dollar Tree, $1.25 now. I love it. You just smash your beef and you don't have any big clumps. I love this thing. So we're going to let this brown and I'll be back with you. Okay, I've cooked this until the meat is brown, no more pink. I'm going to drain the grease off of it and I'll be right back. Okay, I've drained my meat mixture. I've got a can of Old El Paso red enchilada sauce. I'm going to bake them in this aluminum pan. I needed that 8-inch square Corningware dish that we made the cobbler in, but Casey's got it up at her apartment. So I'm just going to do this. What I'm going to do is put some corn tortillas in some of this to soften them. I'm going to pour my enchilada sauce back in the pan where I cooked the meat. It's okay. It's not dirty. I just took the meat out of there, and it's going to be mixed with the meat, so it's okay. No point dirtying up another pan. Like I said, I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. I sprayed this with a little bit of nonstick spray, and I put a couple of spoons of sauce in there. I'm going to, roll it around so my tortillas won't stick. I've got about half a can of that enchilada sauce in here warming up. When it gets hot, I'm going to take some tongs and dip my corn tortillas in this one at a time. to warm them up. What I'm using are Mission white corn tortillas. It says super soft, gluten-free. Comes in a huge package. But I'm going to freeze these. What I don't use today, I'm only going to use 4 out of this huge package. I don't know how many are in there, but I'm only going to use 4, and then I will freeze the rest of these to have for another day. Okay, this was boiling, so that's a little too hot, but I was filming the other thing. I'm going to take, I'm just going to put it in there for this many seconds, and then I'm going to take my tongs and flip it over and put it in this pan so I can fill it with meat. The first one I'd left in the sauce too long and it ripped in half. Then I stuck my tongs through the center of this one, but it's okay. It's all going to work out. I used my tongs to get the meat out of this, and I put too much. I always do, but I'm going to try to roll that and put the seam side down. I have this much meat left over, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just stopped there because that's what fit in this pan. After the first one, I didn't warm them in the enchilada sauce because these say super soft, and they were. They didn't need, regular yellow corn tortillas are pretty stiff. These did not need to be warmed in that. So I've got them, I put cheese and the meat mixture in there, rolled them up. Now I'm just going to pour the enchilada sauce over these and bake them probably 20 minutes at 350. With this leftover, tomorrow, I've got some flour tortillas in the fridge. I'll make a burrito tomorrow with, I'll warm up the flour tortilla in the microwave. Then I will put cheese, this meat, and some refried beans, and that'll be my burrito. That was a 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce, red enchilada sauce. I used the whole thing, and then I just sprinkled on some more cheese on the top. Now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Okay, here's my homemade baked enchilada. I've got 2 enchiladas on here out of the 7. I added some cilantro, some black olive, some sour cream, some diced tomato, and that is a little bit of diced green onion. If I were serving this to somebody besides me, I would have a green salad over here, maybe some refried beans, maybe some Mexican rice, but today I'm having this and my guacamole. Looks pretty good to me. I'm still going to call this recipe enchiladas for 2, because if you go to a Mexican restaurant here in Texas anyway, you get 3 enchiladas. So I made 7. I'm going to call it a recipe for 2. You can freeze them if you want, but I would just eat them the next day. They would be even better the next day. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.